What's up, guys? TheMainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always. And this is a video I've done, I think, at least twice before, but it's more interesting to do now that we're super hype after a Tekken 8 announcement and really cool trailer. We could start racking our brains again on like what characters are going to make the crossover from Tekken 7, the most successful Tekken game of all time, and the first game with a ton of DLC. There was a teeny tiny bit of DLC for Tag 2, but it's in no way comparable. What characters are going to make the transition over to Tekken 8? So I thought we could brainstorm a little bit today. I think it could be a lot of fun. And I have a really detailed breakdown here where we're going to differentiate between a character that is just a guaranteed base roster. This means the character is there day one. You don't need to pay the $6. The character is just there. Day one immediately. You buy the game. Boom. Selectable. Go online. So that's one thing. And then it's like, well, this character could be base roster, could be DLC, but the character is going to be there. But we just don't know, is the character going to be base roster or DLC? But in my opinion, the character is going to be there. He's going to be a given, but could be DLC. And after that, it's like 70%. We're not guaranteed here. We don't know, but most likely. And then 50-50, where it's like, could happen, but could very well not happen. And here we have most likely no, most likely not happening. And this one is for the extreme cases of not happening. Like, it's a given you're not going to see this character in Tekken 8. And that's going to be a very extreme statement, right? Like, if Tekken 8 does well, they're certainly going to do Season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you might see all of the characters again who've been in Tekken 7, right? So it's going to have to be something really extreme to go into not happening. So, let's just start. Without further ado, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. Call me crazy? Call me crazy in the brain? I don't know. Yeah, and I'll do this. Bonk. So these two, just due to the trailer, they are 100% confirmed. I'm going to use the word confirmed, okay? And they will be in the base roster and not DLC. But this is now where people might go, no, you're wrong, main. I'm going to do this. Because this is where some people feel like, and again, they do hint at this in the trailer when Jin does his rage art, you know, and then there's a rage art win pose, I think, when he catches the feather. Like, oh my god, what a great moment that is. Everything about that trailer is so great. But a lot of people think that, oh, they do hint in the trailer that, you know, Jin also, like Kazuya, has embraced and learned to control the devil gene because he gets a wing, you know, and he gets, I think, the third eye as well. And he's like, he's embraced devil gene and he's in control of the devil gene. He's done what Kazuya did with devil. I get that, right? Absolutely. I'm on board with the idea. But that does not mean, in my opinion, that you won't get a separate character, Devil Jin. Devil Jin is successful enough in his own right that he's going to be there. I don't think you're going to see Devil Jin as a transformation for Jin because they're so different. That's not going to happen. And both of these characters, correct me if I'm wrong, but are in the top 10 most played characters. Jin is in the top 10 most played, and so is Devil Jin. Both of these characters are hyper popular in their own right. So I don't think we're going to bake them into one because both of these add content, right? And are highly popular. So I think it would be too controversial to bake them into one. So Jin, he's confirmed, might as well be confirmed, in my opinion. He's going to be there and they're not going to bake them into one. There is no Tekken without Brian. He is the third most popular character in the game. We might as well put numero uno up there as well. Paul, make no mistake, the most popular Tekken character, the most played. There simply is no Tekken without the big P, Paul. He will be there, and so will Brian. They are Tekken, pretty much. Who else is literally Tekken King? Is not about to miss a Tekken game. Has he ever missed a Tekken game? He has not. He is going to be there. So is Nina. We can just put these legacy characters here who never miss a Tekken game. Hwoarang is 100% going to be base roster. I think Dragunov. Oh, Steve base roster. Dragunov is going to be base roster. He is popular. Is someone else like Asuka? Unbelievably popular, especially in Japan, like insanely popular. So those of you who think like, oh, June's gonna come back in the story, Asuka's gonna be dead. She got run over by a truck and June came back. No, I wouldn't get my hopes up. Well, not only about the truck part, but Asuka is way more popular than June ever was. So it's just not happening. Lily, unbelievably popular, especially in Japan. She is certainly going to be part of a base roster. So quite interesting so far here. I'm just gonna double check and see if we're out of like the 100% confirmed. Oh, Lars is absolutely vital to the story. Well-liked character. He is definitely a shoo-in for base roster. And so is Xiaoyu. 100%. Oh my god. I love how I put martial law up that late. My god. Never missed a game. And soon it's going to get more interesting. Interestingly, by the way, he has missed a major tentpole Tekken game. He was not in Tekken 4. And to you, to many of you are Tekken fans and who haven't played every Tekken game, that might seem quite shocking because he was there in Tekken 1 and has been in every game. But he did miss Tekken 4, not a playable character. It's quite remarkable, actually. But I personally believe they felt he didn't fit the tone. They were trying to go from a gritty, grounded approach, and they were like, he's too like comic relief, goofy. But they could not get rid of Kuma. No matter what, that character is played by no one, by the way. Always bottom 50 in terms of picks. But that motherfucker will never, ever miss a Tekken game. The developers love him. Doesn't matter how few people pick him. No one plays Ganryu, and here they're like, oh, who gives a fuck? Fuck Ganryu, don't add him. But it's not like more people play Kuma. Just as unpopular as Ganryu, but will never miss a game. And is largely seen as a comic relief mascot. Is that how I pronounce that? Mascot of a series. They do like their quirky humor, so to be honest, I'm gonna put Kuma there as base roster. And Yoshimitsu obviously does not miss a game. But now I wonder if that's it for like 100% fucking confirmed. So Lydia, shit. Fuck Panda. Panda is Kuma, so I'm just gonna ignore this one. I'm almost inclined to Raven here, but we don't know. I think the last character, I'm like, I might wanna... Oh, you know what? Alyssa is going to make it. Alyssa is going to make it, and she won't be DLC. Extremely well-liked character. Very, very well-liked. And again, especially in Japan, I think. And so well-liked that she was actually in the Tekken 7 story mode. And quite a bit, actually. She even has CG renders. You know, that tells you how liked she is. So Lee as well. Now that I think about it, also featured in story mode. Hasn't missed Tekken 3, but that's about it. He was in Tekken 4 and he's in every Tekken game since then. Lee is going to be base roster. He's not going to be DLC. And just like Alyssa, one of a few characters who is a non-Mishima and featured in the story mode. There weren't a lot of them, you know, to say the least. But honestly, I am inclined to maybe put Leo, Fengwei, Eddie, but those characters to me are not as guaranteed as these guys. There must be a separation between them. I think this, I might change in a little bit, but this to me is like 100% set in stone, guaranteed to have on launch. I mean, it's pretty much the same for fucking Eddie, but he might become Christy and he might be DLC. I mean, the likelihood of him being DLC is so low though, but it could fucking happen. But he's pretty much guaranteed. I'm gonna put him there. I think he's pretty guaranteed. And Fengwei, it's Harada's main. Fengwei was introduced in Tekken 5, has not missed a single game since then, obviously. But are they suddenly gonna make him DLC? No. They're not. But I think that might be it. I think we're finally done. So okay, let's do different stuff now. So characters that are not happening, and again, this has to be really extreme to fit this category. So Noctis is a guest character, and I don't see them. We're gonna get more guest characters, obviously, but the likelihood of them going for the exact same guest characters, I think, is a big fat 0. I don't see that as realistic at all. So here we're gonna put Noctis, we're gonna put Negan. And this this one is controversial. But I know everyone, all the Tekken fans out there cried a little bit, got so sad when there was something that didn't happen in the trailer. I know what you all wanted was, you know, Kazuya and Jin duking it out. And then we're both like sweaty, tired, and we're just staring at each other. And then suddenly you hear, Achashush Barukan, Hadouken, Hadouken, Shoryuken. You know, and Akuma Mesats. I know everyone had their hopes up for that. Like, and then when it didn't happen, no, I know no one wanted that. I just don't think that's happening again. I think that was a one-off. I don't think Akuma is going to be in Tekken 8. But is it not happening or most likely no? We don't know, but it's a most likely no. Most likely no. Is anyone else going to go into one of those categories? This one is interesting. A lot of people don't want to see 2D anymore. I'm one of the people who likes 2D. I can explain this as I'm not a hypocrite. It's annoying to get death comboed by Akuma. It's happened to me quite lately. Quite a lot lately. You see a lot of Akumas in high ranks these days, and you get blown up by them. As an example of this, I can say that I like despise this character. There are a few characters I dislike going up against more than this character. I absolutely hate this matchup. But at the same time, I don't want this character removed from Tekken because she's so unique. She brings a playstyle and a moveset that no other character comes even close. She enriches the game simply by being there. Doesn't matter that I hate the matchup, she makes the game richer because she brings something unique to the table. Completely unique. And we don't get a lot of that these days with Tekken. That used to be a thing of the past, you know, like Brian, Steve, Kazuya, Xiaoyu, Eddie, Yoshi. That's a legacy thing. Characters that completely break from the mold and play a lot like no other characters. Like Hwoarang. Lifts his left leg up. Lifts the knee up. Has access to 100 attacks now from that stance. That doesn't happen anymore. You know, there's so many examples of this. That I don't want them to remove stuff like that and only keep adding characters like Claudio, Leo, Bob, even Miguel, Lydia, Fakumram, Leroy, Lars. Those characters are not like the truly original legacy characters. So as much as I dislike this matchup, don't remove it. As much as I dislike being death comboed by Akuma or tech trapped at the wall, he's broken. But is he the most creative moveset they've created in like 20 years? He is. He objectively is. No other character does what he does. Could they have balanced it better? They sure could have, but is the game going to be less interesting if you remove these characters? It's going to be less interesting. And I know everyone has different opinions on this, and you might see it as controversial what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, I also have issues with this, but do they enrich the game? Give a completely new perspective and experience? They do. They sure as hell do. So again, I wouldn't want to see 2D go, but there's been so much backlash within the Elite community and you know, Tekken Twitter people, so much backlash to the point where Michael Murray said that, you know, they're very afraid of 2D and all of that and how to balance them, and there's just so much hostility towards it. But again, I can only stress, I've done this multiple times, but if this guy, Hwoarang, had never existed, ever, let's pretend he never existed, and oh, Tekken 7, Season 5, Hwoarang joins the fight, ha 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 ha, everyone would be going batshit fucking crazy. This isn't Tekken, what the fuck is this? Remove, delete! Everyone would be doing that. Because it would be completely new. This isn't Tekken, what is this? He lifts his leg and he has 100 attacks and he just spams. Everyone would hate it. But we embrace it these days because it's legacy. It's always been there. And, you know, classic human psychology, that's how it works. We condone that because it's always been there, you know. So there's some hypocrisy, I feel, or just the fact that it's so new. I think if this was better balanced, my God, to me, it's so creative. But yeah, I've talked about this too much now. But I personally would like 2D to stay. Not maybe in these iterations, but would I cry if they added Terry Bogard or something like that? No, I would kind of love it. The problem was always the balancing. And it's hard to balance something that's completely new, obviously. But Akuma, most likely no. 50-50. If one 2D character gets to stay, I think it's Eliza. She's the original one, Tekken Revolution. But I think it's a 50-50. If it wasn't for the gigantic hatred towards 2D, I think for sure she would make it. But again, not a very popular character at all. I think she's bottom 10 or bottom 5. Very few players. Geese Howard, we are talking about 2D. I love Geese Howard. So does Harada. He's a huge fan of a character. He's even joked about on Twitter that he would love to add Howard in the sequel, in another Tekken game. But I don't see it as realistic at all. I don't think SNK would be like, hey, sure, have one of our most popular characters yet again. Because then you're sending this message, in my opinion, to the consumer that if you want to enjoy this super popular character, you don't even have to play SNK anymore. He's in Tekken. So might as well just play Tekken. And I don't think that's happening. I think it was a one-off. I would like it. I love Geese Howard. Would love to see him in Tekken 8. But most likely, no. I think. Do we have any other most likely no's?
1 year. Damn time flies.
Tekken 7, uber successful, many seasons of DLC. Developers go, what can we possibly add that we haven't added? What could we possibly add? Everyone's looking in the garbage bins. Oh, old McDonald's food. And in the bottom of a bin, at the very bottom of a bin, they find Ganryu. Hey, Ganryu, how about him? $6. Oh, sorry. Still got the cold. That's literally what happened. You know, what do we still have left? Ganryu's there. And to the point where we even joke about it in his trailer. I don't know if you guys remember this, but at the event where he was revealed, they had a little joke where Ganryu is being a streamer sitting there, and he says, "Hey guys, I'm coming back! Applause! Make an applause!" And then he goes, "Well, that wasn't much of an applause. I feel sad now. Can you try again? Try again." You know, it's like they made fun of the fact that no one plays Ganryu. He's just never been popular. And in this game, I think he is the least played character. I said it was Kuma, but it's actually not. Ganryu is the least played character in Tekken 7. And I don't remember what his statistics looked like for previous game, but it's most likely the exact same. I think he's bottom 50 or 51 now. And in top 2, bottom 2 is Zafina. No one plays her as well. Which is interesting considering I find her to be very unique and a cool character. Maybe too weird for most people in terms of animation and all of that. But so Ganryu to me is a most likely no. He's going to be there only if the game, I think again like Tekken 7, does really good business. And then they add him. Or they go, well, we have a much bigger budget now, so we're just going to release a base roster with like 40 characters and he's included. But I don't think that's happening because you're going to see new original characters in Tekken 8. New original characters. And they are sure as hell going to promote these newcomers. They are going to prioritize Lydia, Fakumram, and Leroy, who have proven to be very popular new original characters. And even Kazumi, they have full well priority over fucking Ganryu. So even if a base roster is 40 characters day one, you're going to make space for the classics, you're going to make space for proven track record original Tekken 7 characters, and you're going to make space for new original Tekken 8 characters. Ganryu is not going to make the cut. So I'm going to say most likely no on that one. Again, unless DLC, but again, I feel like it's quite unlikely. Hachi is interesting. Let's just take them one at a time here. Hachi is going to be base roster or DLC. And again, people might say, oh, what do you mean? He's fucking dead. He's fucking dead, mate. Well, Tekken 7. Did you know she's dead? In Tekken 7? But she's still a playable character. Oh, because she's featured in story mode in Blasts from the Past. What's it called? Flashbacks. She's literally dead. This guy, unbelievably iconic Tekken character, been there since Tekken 1, super charming, iconic. One of the most popular characters. I don't know how anyone realistically thinks he's not going to be in Tekken 8. Unless you're completely delusional, in my opinion. He is going to be base roster, featured in story mode in flashbacks, is my guess. or he's going to be DLC. There's no fucking way he's not in the game. They might go the approach of like, oh, $6. They might DLC him for the juicy $6. I could see that happening. But more than likely, he's base roster, I would say. Or he's revamped as, you know, Ogre, Hachi. They do something ridiculous. They've done ridiculous things before. He could very well come back as Mutant Lava Hachi. Naskaboy. Could very well happen. And I see the same for Kazumi. Very, very popular. Very, very, very well liked. Doesn't matter that she's dead. I see her as base roster or DLC. Really cool character. I think she's going to make it. And then Leroy is going to be base roster or DLC. Honestly, you could very well do this, in my opinion. That is the most popular visual design, I almost want to say, of all time. There's a reason you saw him instead of who had priority over fucking Yoshimitsu? Who had priority over motherfucking Brian Fury in the Tekken Netflix Bloodline? That motherfucker. Right? Don't underestimate him. I'm gonna fucking put him in base roster because he is gonna be base roster. Base roster or DLC, Fakumram, Lydia. Very popular. This one I'm unsure of, like how popular she is, but they immediately start mentioning her as someone who's going to have an effect on main story, blah, 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 blah. Really great design. I think she's going to be base roster or DLC. Okay, and now it's getting really interesting. Oh, Armor fucking King. He's almost here, but you don't know. It could be $6 again. I don't think any character has ever taken such a gigantic leap in popularity as this guy did in his inclusion in Tekken 7, or with his inclusion in Tekken 7. If I remember correctly, in Tag 2, he was sort of slightly above middle tier in popularity. Slightly above average. Released in Tekken 7, boom! Top 4. I think he was even top 3 for a while. And still, like, to this day, like, is he top 5 or 6? Like, still, like, insanely popular. And no wonder, arguably had the best redesign out of all of the characters. His new design is just so good. It's like, it's eye-watering how good it is. It's just like staggeringly well done. So no wonder. So gigantic leap in popularity. Could very well be base roster, but it's not a given considering they have King. And it's probably quite tantalizing, an attractive thought, business idea, I think, on their end to say, well, Season 1 DLC, $6. Do you know how much DLC that guy pushed for Tekken 7? Do you imagine how much fucking DLC he sold? But I'm sure they're like, don't, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. It's DLC again. So could very well be there, but I'm gonna put him there. Let's see, Bob is probably base roster. Most likely base roster. In the bin. Well, he doesn't miss any games. I don't think they'll remove Bob. I think they like him and they like the joke. Hey, I'm fat, but I can do a double backflip. Ha ha ha! You know, they really like that joke, it seems. I think he'll be base. I'm gonna put him here. He's gonna be base. Claudio is a well-liked original character. He's quite different. He's also featured in the story. He's the exorcist. I think he's gonna stay. Gigas, however. Gigas. Oh dear. Is he 70%? I think he's a fucking 50-50. If he's even a 50-50. Gigas to me represents a little bit of a failure. Feels a bit unfinished, unpolished. His design is not very appealing. Is not very popular. Like at all. Seems like a 50-50 to me. Josie is liked enough that she's going to be base roster, I think. Much more popular than Bruce. I think so. Or does Bruce return? No, Bruce is not returning. He's dead. Replaced. Fuckum Ram got the few moves Josie didn't have from Bruce were given to Fuckum Ram. Oh, Bruce is dead and buried, unfortunately. Yeah, I think she makes it. Katarina, however, I'm gonna put in 50-50. I don't know, quite a failure in my opinion. I don't know exactly how popular she is though.
Will you shut up, Hellas Groupman?
Base roster or DLC? No, Leo is a staple. Leo's a staple. Lucky Chloe. Quite popular, according to Harada. Like top 20, I think. Did he even specify top 20? Especially popular in the US, according to Harada. I don't know how correct that is. That seemed like someone that would be more popular in like Japan and Asia. But I'm gonna say base roster or DLC on that one. Master Raven, 70%. Most likely, but could be replaced yet again by Raven. Although I think the sex change worked. Think more popular than Raven, but I don't know what happens to that character. I don't know. Male Raven could happen again. Miguel, base roster or DLC? Probably base roster. Probably. But he's not as guaranteed as these guys, I feel. Fuck Panda. Panda is Kuma. Shaheen. Important character in terms of representation. I think he's the only Middle Eastern character. Adds value due to that. And actually gets to speak Arabic, right? I mean, my Swedish guy, he speaks Japanese. Multiple of the Chinese characters speak Japanese, right? Xiaoyu. I think Li is also supposed to be Chinese. He speaks Mandarin, right? But Shaheen, like, I never see the character, like, ever. And he's dull as a rock, I feel. Dull as a rock. But but important still, like, only Middle Eastern character. I don't know, man. It's a difficult one. Yeah, it probably goes here. Anna is gonna be base roster or DLC. She's popular enough. Lei, oh my god. So here's a character that actually wasn't going to be in the very important Tekken 7. Was actually not going to be in Tekken 7. That's a pretty big deal considering he's a character that never missed. He literally didn't miss a single game, right? but not in Tekken 7. And they say, well, because no one plays him. No one plays Lei, so we chose not to include him. And then the community gets their panties in a twist or whatever it's called. And everyone screams and complains. And he's eventually included yet again. And everyone is happy. Oh, Lei is here, yes. But no one plays him. So this is where I guess the community gets angry if Lei is not in the... He should be in the character select screen. Oh, Lei! He's playable! He's here! But I never want to play him. No, fuck no, I never want to play against him. I never want to play him. No, Lei? What? No, I don't want to play him. And I don't want to play against him. But he better be in the game! So it's a very, very weird reaction there, in my opinion, where he's so iconic, so he has to be in the game. I just never want to see him. Okay, that makes sense. So the question is, they're probably not going to remove him again because they're like, oh, we're just going to get a backlash again. So I don't know, 70%, or he goes into base roster or DLC. I think he's more likely to be here, but I'm just not sure. I'm not sure. Fight is tough. I'm gonna put him at the 70%. Mardok. Reasonably not very popular, I think. Has some players. Quite popular in tournament play, has to be said though. Quite popular. I mean, he's probably base roster or DLC. He's also a very unique character. Think he has enough popularity, certainly above the... This was actually supposed to be the replacement, right? Mardok is more popular, sees way more tournament play. It's just a cooler character overall. I think he's going to be base roster or DLC. Julia is going to be base roster or DLC. No need to stress more than that. This one is very, very tricky. Very, very tricky. Is she supposed to be Egyptian? What's the nationality on Zafina? A very unique character. Very unique. But again, bottom two in pick rates, no one fucking plays Zafina. So from a business perspective, I mean, she's down the fucking dumpster. Sorry about that. Thanks for the donation. She's down the dumpster in terms like from a business perspective. Like, do we want to put resources into doing a new model for her and blah, 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 animations when bottom two pick rate? This is a character where if a game does solid enough business and we start running out of DLC, she'll probably be added. But again, very, very popular within tournament circles. Very popular due to the strength of a character and how unorthodox she is. And the fact that she is bottom two is a big strength, even in tournament format. You'll just see how many snake edges Arson Ash gets away with her. Because even among the best players, so many of them are still unused to her because she's so rare. So popular within tournament circles, the complete opposite in casual circles. And this is where you have to remember that even though it doesn't feel like that, you don't feel this way because you're a big nerd like me, you know, spend a lot of time with this game, watching tournaments, and you think Zafina is popular. She's a complete opposite of it. Elite play in Tekken is literally like 0.001% of the statistics. I mean, it's microscopic. What they are looking at is how many in our casual audience are interested in seeing her in the game. And that vote is a big old resounding no. So I am honestly inclined to say most likely no on that one. But she has a better shot than Ganryu, maybe. I don't know. 50-50? Yeah, I mean, she's not as dead as Ganryu, I think. And then Kunimitsu. The very unfortunate. Oh, shit. I'm 40 years old. Time to get replaced by my daughter. Unfortunate. But a lot of people seem to like the redesign. To me, it's quite childish. It makes for a great cosplay, I guess. All of the colors and scarves and stuff. I gotta say, I prefer the old Kunimitsu. Yeah, I don't know, childish. But seems reasonably popular. Popular in competitive play. I don't know how popular the DLC is, though. And she was added so late. Due to Kuni being very unpopular, I think, in Tag 2. But I think this redesign is actually well enough liked that she has gained some popularity. I think she's actually sold decently. So she's probably a 70%. Yeah. Or is she a 50-50, perhaps? Is she a 50-50? She is more popular now than in Tag 2. But is she so popular that she's at 70%? Yeah, maybe above those guys. Comic Relief Panda is going to be there. Comic Relief. So I think that's it, actually. So do I want to do any last second changes to this? No, I think that's a given. Base roster or DLC. I don't think they'll skip out on Kazumi. I just don't think they're gonna do it. I think Mardok is a question mark here. The two big question marks in this one, it's Kazumi and Mardok. Everyone else to me is like guaranteed. She's popular. I'm gonna put Mardok at 70%.
Imagine instead of booking rights for Chars from other games, Namco goes and hires actual Hollywood actors, JCVD, Scott Adkins, etc.
70%,
to have their
70.
persona in-game, as DLC.
70. This one's the most likely out of these to make it, so that's why she's first. 50-50. Most likely, no. Yeah. Not happening. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this. I think this makes sense. Well, at least it makes sense to me. Please no Leroy. Dude, he's their most popular design like ever. They even squeezed him into Tekken Bloodline. It's like your Leroy is here to stay. 100%. So that's my breakdown. I hope you all enjoyed that. And yeah, it's my opinion. I'm sure everyone will have very different takes on this, but that makes sense to me. Have a nice day, everyone.